welcome today. My name is Chris Zock, Senior Product Marketing Manager at ServiceChannel. I'm joined here today by Mohammed Issa to talk about how EG Group is driving the future of food retail in Europe. As a bit of context, EG Group has grown explosively over the last 20 years from a single site in 2001 to today one of the largest fuel and food retailers in Europe and globally. And now EG Group is actively rolling out ServiceChannel to thousands of locations across Europe, making them one of the largest operators on the platform anywhere. So it will be really interesting to hear how they're transforming and aligning the facilities function in such a fast-growing business. Mohammed, it's an absolute pleasure to have you here with us today. To get us started, could you please tell us about your role and the role of facilities at EG Group?
Yeah, hi Chris, the pleasure is all mine. I'm Mohammed Issa, EG Group Operations Contracts Manager. My role is to guide and support the implementation of operational facilities across the EG estate. To give you some context, the charter of the Operational Facilities Group is to provide operational support to our teams out in the field. And within Europe alone, we operate over a dozen brands, roughly 4,000 sites, where we have around 20,000 people who we support.
It's a big team that's relying on you, so clearly an important group. For those who aren't familiar yet with EG Group, could you tell us about the business model, and how has your business been evolving to meet changing customer needs?
Well, EG Group is one of the world's leading independent convenience retailers. We have an extensive network of sites across 10 international markets. That includes the UK, Ireland, continental Europe, Australia, and the US. We provide a best-in-class customer experience in grocery merchandise, food service, and fuel. And we work with leading retail brands, the likes of Starbucks, KFC, Subway, Cinnabon, and Burger King, to name a few. We also, have continued to bring a more convenient offering across our stores by working with our retail partner brands. Customers use our sites not only for refueling purposes, but also for breakfast, lunch, dinner, either by going in store or on the go. We also bring a world-class coffee offering, again, either in store or on the go.
So you're a huge group, and you're serving great coffee, which is key to my heart. So as one of the largest franchise operators in the world, you're not stopping there. You're continuing to grow through acquisitions. So can you give us a sense of that scale? How many sites are you operating? Where are they located? And are there any other brands in your portfolio beyond those that you just mentioned?
Yeah, I tend to lose count sometimes, but as it stands, through both mergers, acquisitions, and construction of new-to-industry locations, EG is currently, in the region of operating 6,000 fuel locations and additional 1,000 food-to-go stores. We've been long partners with the likes of Subway, Burger King, Starbucks, and UK brand Greggs. Following the opening of a handful of KFC stores, last year we completed on a deal to acquire 150 KFCs across UK and Ireland. Just yesterday, we announced the acquisition of an additional 52 KFC stores. We've also recently been rolling out Cinnabon and Sbarro stores across the UK to widen our customer offering. EG is the largest Starbucks franchisee in the UK and also the largest Subway franchisee in Europe. Our most recent acquisition was of the natural fast food chain Leon, which has an extensive network of over 70 restaurants, including both company-owned and franchise sites located in both the UK and continental Europe. And as you can imagine, that with all this expansion creates significant operational complexity and challenges when it comes to change management.
Yeah, no doubt. And we're going to dive into some of the challenges that you're overcoming here just shortly. Before we get into that, I wanted to ask you, one more question about EG Group. I understand that the group has a real belief in identifying and promoting leadership from within the company. So can you tell us about, the path that you've taken to the role that you have here today?
Yeah, of course. For me, approaching now, almost 11 years with the business, age 16, fresh out of secondary school. I joined EG as a sandwich artist in Subway, making sandwiches day to day. Thereafter, I was a barista in Starbucks, and I then returned back to Subway as a store manager, where I was managing our flagship store, right across from our head office. I then moved on into an office role supporting facilities, more specifically fuel assets. Following the merger with European Forecourt Retail back in 2015, I then started supporting with identifying synergies in facilities management with our wider group, which then developed into a more contract management role specializing in facilities. However, now I'm more focused on the global standardization of our facilities program and processes.
Yeah, with your background, it's clear you have a intimate understanding of the life on the ground in the location, right, and managing the store and really being focused on serving those customers and keeping operations running. So, it's a great perspective to bring to what you're doing now, which kind of brings us to the rollout. So now you're working on this transformation of the facilities process. And, we've talked about how that your main focus here is really to standardize and to centralize that facilities management, practice across all these different brands that you just mentioned, which you continue to add to your portfolio. So, as you said, it's got to be a big challenge and a huge undertaking. Can you tell us a bit more about that? What are some of the challenges of just aligning all these different teams on one way of operating?
With the dynamics of our business, we have three different business streams, which include fuel, which is, of course, the heart of our business, food service, and grocery and merchandise. This means the volume of different pieces of equipment puts great importance on maintenance. This is managed both by, on a group level and by our fantastic regional teams across the different countries. Firstly, we look at the number of units we operate, then our store users, our facilities team, and finally our service vendors. To bring it all together on one platform is a considerable task. And to give you some context on that and why this is such a big undertaking, we've done a lot of acquisitions. And with each acquisition, we bring on multiple teams, multiple different systems, their processes, and ultimately our aim is to centralize all the different processes into one platform, even though everything is managed by a huge, large number of individuals. However, at the end, we're then able to use that data, analyze it to make the comparisons in service and costs.
Yeah, it's a lot of different ways of doing things to get on one page, but it's clear to see that there can be a lot of benefits once you do that. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about the business case, and what you're hoping to get out of it, which I think would be really enlightening to those who are thinking about following your footsteps. Let's start with the cost saving side of things. Where are you seeing that potential for optimizing the way you spend?
Yeah, so we don't have set explicit savings goals. However, we're always constantly looking for synergies that are going to bring costs down and performance levels up. So whenever we present a proposal to our CEOs, they ask us a simple question. If this was your money, how would you spend it? And we take that to heart. We're always looking for ways to make our pennies or dollars or euros go further. Because every penny saved is then invested elsewhere. A good example here is ensuring that the service we receive, that we pay for from our vendors, is at a high standard. Prior to Service Channel, we had to depend on self-reported data. And now with Service Channel, we can validate that the work was done and we're paying for the right amount of labor. Across all of Europe, we work with hundreds of vendors. So centralizing on Service Channel will allow us to measure and compare the performance of vendors, giving the business, giving more business to those who do the best service for us.
Right. So another area of benefit that we've talked about is around productivity. So can you share with us, how you define productivity and the kind of benefits you're seeing in that area?
Yeah. So productivity is measured in many ways. On the field is how quickly we can provide service to our customers without compromising on quality. And facilities management is similar. Our customers are the employees on the ground, where they're responsible for operating the store. We then have to provide them the support in all the areas to keep their stores up to the standards. For example, one of the changes we've made with Service Channel is to eliminate this need for the store user to have to pick up the phone, write them an email. That's taking them away from where they need to be. However, now it's streamlined, standardized. They're guided through a list of drop downs to identify and submit a fault. And while this is all being managed, they still have full visibility of the status of that work order. This eliminates things being lost in an email.
Yeah. And, as you said, that they have more time then to focus on the customer ultimately, which is the real key to revenue. So let's talk about that as like a third area of benefit. It's facilities plays a critical role in supporting this revenue generation, ensuring that the assets are operating, that there's not any disruptions to customer service. So, how do you think about, the role of facilities in revenue generation?
Yeah, well, fast food service is about being fast. For example, at one of our Starbucks stores, and I know from when I used to work there, keeping up the brand standards, when a customer arrives in a drive-through lane, the barista has 2 to 3 minutes to fulfill that order. And if we don't have a coffee machine that isn't working, we're not able to fulfill and give the customer the experience they deserve. And the same goes with our fuel dispensers. Without a working dispenser, our customers can't fill up. Without a working fryer, there's no KFC fried chicken.
And if there's no chicken, you have some sad customers for sure. So let's kind of step back and look at the bigger picture then. So how do you think about the total economic benefit to the company of upgrading your facilities program to this new level of standards?
Yeah. The main reason we bought Service Channel in is to have a unified system which records, standardizes, and collects all the data and metrics we need to run the business more effectively. We expect that the impact and benefits of all this will be huge. However, if I'm being honest, we haven't yet quantified the benefits. We're a third of our way into a phased rollout across multiple regions. We spend a large amount of money on maintenance and facilities. So then we know that having visibility and control over that spend will translate directly to our P&L. So we have the potential to save millions of pounds. But again, it's still larger than that. By preventing failure of our revenue-generating assets and satisfying customers so they come back, we then add more to the top line of the business. One other huge benefit is time, which it's hard to put a value on that. Creating better efficiency has benefits across the board. And we operate with the philosophy of a family-run business. We have a strong sense of ownership to get things done as quickly as possible.
Yeah, and really empowering those employees to take action quickly is going to give them that time to take ownership over other things that they can do to help the business as well. I think there's one other area that we touched on that you're looking for some benefits in, and that's really around managing your assets. What are you looking to gain with better data on your assets?
Yeah, having better visibility into asset health is really important to us. The data helps us to present justification for spend to the business. This is the most important when we look to replace assets. So today, our capital planning process is largely reactive. So a store manager or an area manager calls up and says that a dispenser or a fryer isn't working and we need to replace it. However, we don't have any verification about the history of the asset, how old it is, what maintenance or inspections have been performed. It's exciting that we're moving towards a model in which we know all of that and we're managing it all proactively.
Yeah, it sounds like you really have a vision of being a more proactive operator. So could you describe that ideal future state that you're working towards, and imagine a year from now, what does it look like in a perfect world?
Yeah. So we touched on it earlier, but a big area is moving from a reactive posture on assets to proactive capital planning. Assets are such a critical part of our business. Our revenue depends on the reliability and uptime of our assets. I'm looking forward to having robust data-driven process for capital expenditure. We will have an up-to-date asset register where we know what assets we have where they all are, whether they're receiving the preventative maintenance they need, and what we should be budgeting in terms of a replacement cycle. This going to hugely help the productivity of our staff and the efficiency of our spend.
Yeah, that's great. Future to look forward to. So, as others in the audience are considering, that future as well, and similar initiatives they might take to centralize and modernize their facilities processes, the first step here is Service Channel as like a foundational layer of data and information. So, what would you say to someone who is thinking about partnering in this effort with Service Channel?
Yeah, Service Channel wasn't the first, FM platform we'd explored. However, fortunately for us, our Cumberland Farms team were and had been utilizing it for many years prior to the acquisition. Upon diving into what it provided as a business, it made clear sense that this was a new direction we needed to head in. And as I mentioned earlier, we are still in implementation phase. However, with what we have seen so far, is that our users have full visibility of work orders. Furthermore, it also allows for quotes, proposals, and invoicing to be managed straight from the Service Channel portal. This is it's a huge step forward for us. I should also mention that the implementation process itself has made us better. For example, it's helped us to establish a master list of all our locations, which is linked to our real estate and HR platforms. We're also now aligned around a more uniform set of contact information, including both email addresses and store phone numbers. This may seem like small things, but they set the foundation to drive change and improvement across our huge network of sites.
Yeah, I mean, it's a series of small steps that add up to that big leap that you're taking with your business. So it's really exciting to watch. So thank you so much for your time and for sharing your experience today, Mohammed. I know there's many in the audience who are facing similar challenges to what you've described, and I appreciate your honesty about the journey that it takes to get there and working towards a modernized facilities approach. Thanks for being an amazing partner to us, and we look forward to watching and hearing about your continued success in the future.
Yeah, likewise. Great stuff. Thank you very much, Chris. Thank you for your time.
And thank you to everyone in our audience for watching along with us today. Take care and cheers.